Hi everybody, this will be the first of videos that I'll be uploading so you can see stuff, but there's been a few people contacting me with questions specifically about income tax basis periods. So I'm just going to do some notes now for you and then we'll get this up there so you can look at it. Now I'm going to do it in two sections because there's two different bits and they both have different rules on them. So I think from what people are saying that the first bit isn't too difficult, but the second bit is. But we'll do both of them anyway so that people have got extra notes. If you see me looking down here or hear some noise or something, it's because my dogs are running about between my feet. So just ignore that. But the bit I'm going to cover in this one is specifically commencement. When the business starts and we get up into the first 2 or 3 periods of trying to figure out what the dates are so that we're then able to figure out what's declared in each year. Now, year 1 is very easy. Year 1 is as simple as in that year, you record from the day you open until the next time it's the 5th of April. It's very straightforward. If you start on the 1st of March, that's 1 month. If you start on the 1st of May, that's 11 months before you get to it. But that's all you record on that period is just that time from when you first open up until that. So that's fine and very straightforward. Now, year 3 is also straightforward because by the time you get to year 3, you're able to say, actually, by now I have an accounting date, I have financial statements being prepared for 12-month periods, and at this point, you just use whichever financial statements finish in that year. So if your accounting date is the 30th of June and you were looking at this tax year that we're currently in, which is 1920, running from the 6th of April 2019 to the 5th of April 2020, the 30th of June 2019 is the accounting date which falls in that period. So those financial statements which are prepared for that 12 months, whatever is on those, that's what you put in. Even though some of the dates in that period do not match up directly with the tax year of the 6th of April 19 to the 5th of April 20. The financial statements which finish in the year, that's what you put down. And from year 3 forward, that's always what you put down. What was the set of financial statements that finish in this year? That 12-month period is on this year's tax return. So there it's very straightforward. Now, it is in year 2 that it becomes more difficult and we have to ask ourselves some questions. There are 3 different ways in which we can do year 2 and it depends what the answer to these questions is. So, question number 1. In fact, no. Year 2. Question number 1 that we will ask ourselves is this. Is there a set of financial statements which finish in this year? So if the tax year that was year 2 is 1920, then again, those dates are the 6th of April 2019 to the 5th of April 2020. Is there a set of financial statements which have been prepared which finish in that year? If the answer to that is yes, then we ask ourselves question number 2. If the answer to that is no, we'll come to it in a minute what we do with that. So if there is a set of financial statements in the year, fine, yes. Then we ask ourselves question number 2. Now, I'm just realising that this pen is a bit rubbish and it isn't very visible. What I'll do is when we're finished, I'll also take a still photo of the board and put that on Nile as well so you can see it. So question 1 is there a set of financial statements in this period? If the answer is yes, ask yourself question number 2. Are those financial statements 12 months long? If the answer to that question is yes, then what you do is you use those. If there's a set of financial statements which finish in that tax year and they are 12 months long, use the profits declared on those financial statements for the year. Simple as that. It's what if that is not the case that we have to ask ourselves. If there is a set of financial statements, but they are not 12 months long, then what you use is the first 12 months that the business was in trade. So in the question that we did in class for Michelle, in that second year, there was a set of financial statements. So the answer to question 1 was yes, but they were only 12 months long. 10 months long. So we weren't able to use them in entirety. So what we had to do was go from the date that the business opened forward 12 months and do this 12-month period. Sorry, I just need to clear my throat. So we couldn't use those in entirety, and we did the first 12 months. But the first 12 months was 10 months at those first financial statements, and the 2 months after, which came from the next set of financial statements. So if there is financial statements and they are 12 months long, use them. If there is financial statements and they are not 12 months long, then do the first 12 months that the business was open, regardless of what those dates were. And that's how we end up with overlap periods, because some of them may have been declared earlier. Now, if there is not a set of financial statements being finished in that year, you use the actual dates. You look at what financial statements there are, and you piece together the 6th of April to the 5th of April. If there is no financial statements that finish in that year that you can use, you use the actual dates of the tax year. They are the 3 options in year 2. Financial statements that finish in the year and are 12 months long, use them. Financial statements that finish in the year and are not 12 months long, use the first 12 months that the business is open. No financial statements, use the actual dates of the tax year. Anytime there is overlap, you just map out the dates and you see what they are. Sometimes it's easier to have a kind of timeline that says year 1 recorded this, year 2 recorded this, so there's an overlap. Year 3 recorded this, so there's an overlap. If you do it this way by putting the dates that these are on, you can find that out that way. But that takes time. If you need to do this method now while you're getting your head around putting these dates together, then that's fine. But by the time you come to the exam, you will need to be able to do it in this format, being able to answer the questions and figure out what the dates are. It should be fairly straightforward to get those commencement dates right. It also should be fairly straightforward to figure out any overlap periods. I fully expect that the difficult part that people are having trouble with is to do with the change of accounting date. That is something that I will cover in the next video, so you can break it down into smaller bits. I'm also going to upload the answer for question 2 that I gave you in the class as well, so you can have a look at that. Okay? I'll take a photo of this so that it can go up as a still as well, and I'll upload this to now soon.